Good Sunday morning, everybody. Good Sunday morning. Welcome to Sunday with Spirit. For the people who are joining for the first time, this is not a political, this is a spiritual pull. And I like to welcome everybody to come together in a circle. I should put these in a circle. I need a bigger table. But we come together every Sunday. This group, this ever-growing group, and we raise our vibration by thinking of our world as we want it to be versus what we are told it is. And as we come together in this circle, we feed off of each other. We step into each other's energy fields and absorb the qualities that we emanate. And when we're in this sacred space, when we're in this sacred circle of love and light, there's no darkness that can come in, so we don't need to worry about that. But when we're not in this sacred space, then things become a little muddy and a little unclear. So as I was pulling up my decks, I was going, which one should I use? I'm going, how do I find clarity? And it was a simple question. How do I find clarity in the decks that I want to use for today? I have my Enchanted Map, my Angel Tarot. Oh, that's always a good one. Prism Oracle, again, good. Dark Mirror. Oh, I don't want to look at that, because that's probably looking at me. The Los Gedibo Tarot, just regular old tarot. Should I just use that? Or should I use my Shamanic Healing? What about the Sacred Earth Oracle? That's always great. Such beautiful images. And you can't forget the ETs. The Galactic. And then you have Angels and Ancestors. Which one should I use? So I think they all kind of called to me just a wee bit. And so let's see. I've pulled one card from each deck. And let's see, at least I hope I did, let's see how this speaks to us. Every person is going to have a different journey with this spread. My interpretations are just mine at this moment in this time. And when we need to find clarity, it's always a time-specific thing. 'Cause sometimes we're just cruising along and we go, oh, this is so clear. My path is so clear. I'm trying to think of when that was. I'm sure there was a time. I'm still thinking, when was I super clear? Going into the circle, going into sacred space. That's when I get clear. The first card we're going to look at is the regular tarot. And it's the burden. Excuse me. It's carrying the heavy load. And in this deck, which I like the way this person has their burden on their back. It's in a neat little bundle. It's on their back, not in their front, so they can see where they're going. They see the path ahead of them. They see the village. And it feels like, when I look at this card and I look at him walking, it's a little hunched over, the burden is a little heavy, but he's carrying, it appears appears like sacred wood to the village. It looks like he had a sacred fire. He has some passions that's going to the village. And again, I may be assuming that this is a he. It could be a she. You know what assuming means. Let's just leave that up here. The burden. Prism Oracle. Let's put a little light on this burden. Let's see what that... And we get the circle of faith. I don't want to tell you what color this is because I may be wrong. You guys who watch me know that my color sense is horrible. And maybe I should stop saying it's horrible, and then I can come to realize that maybe it's not so horrible. So with this purple faith card, this circle, I go back to what I was saying before, that we have to have faith in our journey. We have to have faith in the community, in the circle, in lean on other people when we need real clarity. In this burden, this smoldering, each one of those rods is a passion, and those passions can pull us off our path. But when they go into a sacred fire, it brings us all together. Faith and community in the circle for clarity. Shamanic Healing Oracle. And it talks about the inner journey. To get clear where to find clarity, that's what I want to say, because getting clear goes back to a religious thing that I don't want to get into. To find clarity, it's all about an inner journey. So even though we are looking and leaning on our circle, you can't lean on it too much. I don't know why I keep seeing these wands in a teepee-like structure, but I do. And the inner journey is going within the circle, going within the burden, the path. It's all about the inner journey. And I guess when we go into the inner journey, we need to look into the mirror. The dark mirror is, ow, atonement. Ow, that hurts. Atonement. So this feels like the Ten of Swords, even though it's 31, but this reminds me of the Ten of Swords in the tarot deck. And I'm not sure how many swords. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So going back to the inner journey, what's happening to the outside of us? Do we need to atone for things coming from the outside, or is it things coming from the inside that we need to atone for? Some people take it and say, oh, that happened, I need to atone for that. But it goes back to the inner journey. And maybe we are wishing so much of atonement to happen to somebody else, we forget our inner journey. Have faith that that'll take care of itself when they go into their inner journey, but still, it's a struggle for us. That little topic went a little outside of our sacred circle. It went outside the inner energy bubble with this atonement for me just now. So bring it back to the inner journey. What do I need to atone for? Where did I stumble on this journey? Where did I step out of this circle of compassion, love, and light? And it always goes back to put those on your back, start walking. Put those things that don't make sense, that maybe you lashed out at somebody for. Just put all those on your back, walk to the village, walk to the circle, the inner journey. And let's look at Sacred Earth Oracle. To get clear, find clarity, it's a little bit about perception. Okay, well, let's take that little bit out of there. It's all about perception. What's the perception of the reason why we need that atonement? Sometimes we make it worse than it really is. Sometimes we make it less than it really is, and we really need to look at it. It's all about perception. I don't need to look at that. I'm good. I've told myself this so many times, I actually believe it. So you go back into the inner journey. You go back to the circle and see, is this a burden or is this a joy carrying these? What's going to happen when this guy gets to the village? Are people going to celebrate? Thank you for bringing some firewood to us. Thank you for bringing the circle, the teepee, the circle that's going to allow us to go into our inner journey, to let go of some past hurts, to find a clearer perception. And as we're looking at perception, let's go with the Galactic Foundation card, alienness. Alienness. Non-humanoid parallel. Getting clear. How many people feel that they don't belong here on this planet? How many people think that someone made a mistake sending them down here? I don't fit in. I feel like an alien. I have alienness feelings. I don't know what that means. Alienness. But they feel like they're non-human. They feel like they're from a parallel universe. And in this card, it reminds us to still enjoy this planet as much as we can. Don't forget about the beautiful things on this planet. We may not feel that we belong. However, we are here, so we do belong in this circle. So we just shift the perception a little bit. Acknowledge that we may not feel like we belong. Maybe you need to look inside for a little bit of atonement. And I think that atonement, it's not about swords. It's about going into the inner journey. That's hard enough. jumping into that circle, that community of like-minded, where it's all love, all light, purple love. And we're going to look at the Sacred Earth Oracle. Going back, knowing that we need to stay, that we need to appreciate and be on this planet because we are on this planet. Even though we may feel, our perception is that we don't belong. What do we need to look at? Oh, okay, never mind. Star ancestor. Follow the voice of your soul. Okay then. So with this alienness card, we're not clear. We feel non-humanoid to a certain extent. But there is that parallel that we have to tap into. But this card suggests, yeah, but we do have star ancestors. And we need to listen to the voice of the soul. What is it telling us? What's that perception like? Go back into the inner journey. Have the circle of faith that this strange burden is taking us back to the voice of our souls, to our star ancestor. Okay. Maybe we need a map, enchanted map. To get a little bit of clarity in this time, it's time to get rid of the junk. It's time to clean house. It's time to maybe, this card bothers me so much. The swords of atonement. I'm just going to flip this over because I think that atonement goes to that. I'm going to cover it with something else. That's what I just heard. I don't think that's what it meant, but nonetheless, cleaning house, finding out, like to me, it just goes back to this inner journey. What are we cluttering our circle of faith with? Do we have a clear perception, or is it really messy? Do we have a clear perception of this non-human parallel that we're experiencing, that some of us experience? We have to go back to listen to our soul. What is the true essence of who we are? And the final card I pulled is, I can't pronounce this. This is the Angel Tarot, and it's called Aladia, I think. This is the favorable God, divine grace, cures rage, pestilence, absolves the guilty. And this goes over here on top of atonement. This is the Six of Pentacles, giving and receiving. So as we look at this atonement card that bothers me so much with the swords being stuck in the back, and you go, okay, forgive me. You know, certain religious sects, they whip themselves because they've been bad people. I find that crazy, coming from me personally. There's a better way, and that's going into your inner journey. There's a better way, that is to give and receive, have gratitude, and a giving attitude, that will absolve the guilty. That will be the atonement. Divine grace cures rage, pestilence, absolves the guilty. So how do we get clarity? How do I find clarity in these cards? It's a struggle every day. That's what this Ten of Wands is. Keep walking, keep moving. You've got some gifts to give that village. Whether it's a piece of firewood, whether it's a teepee to create that circle of faith that everybody can join in. To have a collective experience for an inner journey that finds the favorable God of giving and receiving. And there's two rings here. It's a partnership on this inner journey in this circle. And we look at our perception, we take a look, we perceive some things that we may not feel comfortable with, like why am I here? But trust in your star answers, your angels, your gods. Follow the voice of your soul, the oneness. And we can't find this clarity if our house is full of arrows stuck in our back. And the fun thing to do with this when we're trying to find some clarity, does this card belong up here first? Clean house before you start your journey? Maybe. This atonement, does that start our journey? Then you clean house. Then you pick up all your sticks, your wands. Have faith that that inner journey going into the village will be perceived. I don't know where this fits yet, but we may go, why are we doing this? Why are we walking here? This doesn't feel right. This doesn't, I should just lay down and take a sleep. It's that non-parallel, it's that parallel reality. This is good, this is bad. I'm doing good, I'm not doing so good. Follow the voice of your soul. Give and receive. Goes back to here, to sharing our light, having it available so that if people need to step into gain some power from another person in the circle and not take any power, but just stand in their strength, their wisdom, their light, that's available, giving and receiving. Thank you guys for watching this Sunday. Appreciate you all in this beautiful circle. Peace and love.